Hello and welcome everybody to All the Rage Sports. With me as always is my lovely panel of analysts, Mr. Jace, my only analyst.
You continue to say week in and week out, panel of analysts. It's just me. Don't get the people excited.
Is there going to be more than Jason? No, just Jace. Sorry.
No, it's just Jason. Wait.
Well, we're going to break down. We're past the midway point of the season. We're going to break down the Week 9 matchups. There was a lot of good ones. Unlike the prior week where it seemed to be upset city, it wasn't as bad. There were a couple, but it wasn't as bad as some of Week 8's crazy amount of upsets that were happening. So definitely have some juggernauts lost, some upper echelon of the NFL right now. We're going to be obviously talking about the Packers. The Seahawks actually lost against the Bills, kind of cementing the Bills in that top five teams in the league right now. I'm very much looking forward to that Bills-Steelers game. That one's going to be intense. The Ravens did win. There's some other ones in there. We want to talk about the Patriots and how I just am so happy to see a Patriots team that's mediocre at best. We'll definitely be touching in on the Vikings and Dalvin Cook being really channeling his best Adrian Peterson impression. So that's pretty. I guess the best way to say that is, that's what he's doing. He's out there just putting the team on his back. Probably the only reason that Kirk Cousins still has a job at this point.
Yeah, he should be in the fucking unemployment line.
Yeah. And to think, just a few weeks ago, we were talking about this Bears team being like 5-1, and they're rocking a 5-4 record, which looks a lot more reminiscent of actually how this Bears team plays. Talk about the Chargers woes continuing. Raiders kicked them down a notch. Steelers doing everything they can to lose that game in Dallas and still managing to win. And the Saints just picking on little brother Bucks. It's really great. It's really, really, really great.
That was a great. You know what's underrated about that game is a Sunday night game it's 28-0 before half.
Yeah.
You know what? I can just shut the TV off, or
turn snooze early.
Yeah, just turn something else on, or just sit there and just relax. You ain't really gonna pay.
And then probably the actually quite exciting Monday night game. When you look on the docket, you're like, oh, who wants to watch that game? But it actually turned out to be a pretty damn good game. Mainly because the Patriots just aren't as good as they used to be. And I love it. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to get all that and more on. Obviously, Jace is going to definitely talk about the Masters coming up. His table keeps raising every time he hears Masters. He's just, So he's very excited about that. So we will be talking about the Masters as well. So we're going to have all that and more coming for you on All the Rage Sports. Okay, so let's just start right into it on our Week 9 breakdowns. Start off with the Packers and Niners. I am pleasantly surprised that this Niners team still is keeping the record they're at. Now, they are 4-5. They are not going to make the playoffs. They will be lucky to make it to an 8-8 type of record. But you got to give them a little bit of props because they are really, with as much talent as they have injured, they are still, being competitive in games in a sense. They're not the worst team out there right now. Certainly on the other hand, you're looking at the Packers, who are insane. When Aaron Rodgers is going and he starts out the game well, he is unstoppable. games they've lost this year is when he's made one or two mistakes early, and then they were able to keep him in check. The Vikings game, they were down, I think, 28-7, and almost came back to win it at the end and lost that one. And I think the other one was the Seahawks. I can't remember who the other one was.
Yes.
Was it the Seahawks?
I think so.
I think that's what it was. But they just down early. Rodgers threw his first interception of the year, and then they lost that game. So I think this Packers team is definitely one of the top 5 teams in the league right now. Definitely looking like an NFC Super Bowl favorite.
I do agree with you, though. If they don't start hot, if they get behind early, then they struggle mightily.
Yes. Devontae Adams, though, in the games that he's been in there, is just becoming an unstoppable force right now.
Well, I will say I really didn't view him like I had him as like a top 10 receiver in the league. I really see him as like I guess if you would put him in like the DeAndre Hopkins, like that type of category, like the Julio, those guys. I really didn't see him as that dude, but you watch him this year and he's cemented himself. There's no doubt.
Devontae Adams is doing similar to what Antonio Brown did a few years ago, where your route running, your intelligence on the sidelines, your know-how and shiftiness can win you one-on-one matchups. And that's what he's doing. He's winning every one-on-one matchup he's going up against.
Yes.
And that's just when you're able to beat the guy across from you, no matter who the hell they are, you're going to have that type of success.
Well, win one-on-one matchups with Aaron Rodgers throwing you the ball.
Yeah. I mean, that helps.
Yeah.
Just a little. So, yeah, that Packers team defeated the Niners 34-7. Once again, 17. Sorry, I said 7. 17, bringing them to 6-2. I think if you're looking at the NFC with the recent games with the Seahawks, I think this Packers team is the number 1 team in the NFC right now.
Yeah, that and everybody was on the Bucs hype train, and I think they're still good. I'm not to say that I don't think they're up there, but I think if I was going to pick, it really boils down to, I hate to say it, but what quarterback are you going to ride with in the NFC? If I'm taking out a Brady, Breeze, or Rodgers right now, Rodgers is, like you said, he's had games where he hasn't played. He's kind of been meh, but he hasn't had like off games like Breeze and Brady have.
Yeah.
So I have no problem believing the Packers are the favorite in the NFC.
Yeah, I would have to. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly on that. I think those 3 teams you just mentioned are the top 3 in the NFC, easy. Bucks maybe not top 3 because you still have the Seahawks
And the Cardinals.
Cardinals. So there are a few. I'm not convinced on the Bucks yet, just because of the stinker that they either are 100% on or 100% off. They either completely suck and look horrible, or they look like an unstoppable force. So it's one or the other with them, and it's hard to know what type you're getting. You're either going to have Brady who forgets it's 4th down, or Brady who throws 5 TDs. So it's like it's weird. So let's go on from that. Broncos and Falcons. The Falcons are really doing a thing it seems like they do every fucking year. And they start the season off 0-5 or 0-6 or 0-4 or whatever. And start rattling off wins. And almost get into the wild card. And then fall on their face.
Yep.
So it's like right now they're sitting at 3-6. It is all absolutely 100% possible that they could essentially win out and make the playoffs. Or even if they lose 1 or 2 more, they might be able to squeak in a wild card. I don't think 8-8 gets a wild card spot in the NFC right now. But that's what they're doing right now. They're going to come out. They're going to play competitive. They're going to act like there's no tomorrow.
Bye next week. Then you're in New Orleans, and then you go to you host the Raiders at home, and then what do they have after that? We'll just do, and then they have to play the Saints again, but they get 2 straight home games. They have to play the Raiders and the Saints in back-to-back games at home.
Yeah.
So Saints, Raiders, Saints.
Yeah, I just don't see that. I just don't see that boding well for them.
I see.
As soon as they get to 7 losses, I think you're essentially out in the NFC right now.
Yeah. I think their best bet is they can lose realistically one more game the rest of the year. And in that 3-game stretch, that's 2 divisional games. And, not going to be biased, but it's the Raiders. They're not going to be exactly easy to beat. So I don't see them coming out of that 3-0.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think
absolutely not. So yeah, I think it's a valiant effort, but not happening. I think the AFC is really the only one that you might be able to sneak in with like a 9-7 record, because they have like a few good teams at the top and then a bunch of muddled. And then the NFC just seems to have boom, 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 boom. Like it almost has its playoffs already laid out just from the talent on the roster. You're looking the Packers, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the Rams. Let me try to think of the rest. The Bucks, the Saints, and the Eagles will win their division. And that's it right there. Like that's pretty much the playoffs right there.
Yeah.
So it's hard to argue that you can sneak in with a less than great record in the NFC. So yeah, the Falcons probably a last-ditch effort to try to salvage, just to get a worse draft position is all they're really doing to themselves right now. Let's try to go out and win a few games so we can not get Matt Ryan's replacement someday.
Yep.
All right, moving on. What a great game this was. The Seahawks and the Bills. So I have good and bad things to say kind of about both teams. This Seahawks team with Russell Wilson is insane. Russell Wilson is playing out of his mind. And if that man had any sort of defense to help him to make a stop, just one, that man would probably be undefeated right now.
If we could go back in time and get him the Legion of Boom back,
that team would be untouchable right now.
There wouldn't be. It'd be like, okay, the Steelers are 8-0 and all, but they'll have to play the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. That'd pretty much be it.
Yeah.
Or the Chiefs, they're getting hot. It wouldn't matter. You'd be running into a bulldozer. But every week, like you said, they just got to make one stop. They got to get one key stop. And every week, this defense manages to give up more and more records for points and yardage. And they're an absolute abomination.
And it's not even the front seven that's doing bad for them. The front seven is playing pretty well. Bobby Wagner's still playing to an all-pro kind of caliber. It's that back end, even with Jamal Adams coming over, like they're just letting so much. Like they can't stop any receiver whatsoever.
Yeah, I wonder how Jamal Adams is feeling now.
Yeah, right.
I mean, better off than being on the Jets, but
yeah,
I think being on the surface of the sun would be better than playing for the Jets.
That's true. There's a lot of everyone that wants out of there. So this Seahawks team is definitely one of the top teams in the NFC, but it's also one of the worst defenses in the league. And it's just sad because you want to believe that Russell Wilson went through that Legion of Boom phase, got his contract, then went through the whole rebuild on that defense, lost his probably best wide receiver target in Doug Baldwin to concussions and retirement. And then they go out and they're supplementing, the offense with DK and Tyler Lockett, who are both playing out of their minds. And Chris Carson, who was playing so well, gets injured. And then they get they're like in their 4th running back or whatever right now. And they're still putting up points like crazy. but their defense just cannot get any stops whatsoever. So yeah, that's the number one thing with them is if their defense does not improve in the second half of the season, you could see this team being 12-4, 13-3, and being a one and done type of team in the playoffs.
Yeah, it just really depends on the first team they face that is really explosive. Say, let's be theoretical. If they're a 13-3 and they win their division or something like that, even if they have to play, for funsies, an Arizona Cardinals team in the wild card,
Literally what I was thinking too. Cardinals
could be real fucking ugly real quick.
Yeah. So then we go over to the other side, the Buffalo Bills, dropping 44 on the Seahawks team. Now, we did just talk about how the Seahawks team may be the worst secondary in the league, and Josh Allen definitely took advantage of that. He went absolutely insane. But this Bills team is not the Bills team of the past where you see them sneak into the wild card and, they get that one crazy upset win over someone, and you're like, oh, my God, the Bills. Like the Titans of last year where they're like, holy crap, they beat the Patriots. Or, whatever. It is that this team is legit top contender in the AFC at this point. They are not someone to fuck around with. They are taking control of this division without Tom Brady being in it. Belichick is not able to keep this Patriots team at the top of that division anymore. It's pretty much set in stone at this point. I don't know how you can argue it any other way. But yeah, I'm loving this Bills team.
And he's going to figure out a way to get his hands on Trevor Lawrence.
He will. He'll figure out, and it'll piss everybody off.
This is just last week. It was Jerry Jones. Now I have a theory about how Bill Belichick's tanking for Trevor Lawrence.
Everybody is tanking for Trevor Lawrence at this point. Is basically
what. Better because at this point he might go to like grad school just to avoid the fucking Jets.
Yeah, that's true. Transfer and be a red shirt somewhere.
Yeah. Red shirt, 5th year at UC Southern.
Tech.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Buffalo Bills right now, I would have to say in the AFC, you would put them in probably the top 2 or 3 dangerous AFC teams. You're going to look at the Chiefs, obviously. Even though the Steelers are 8-0, you're probably still saying the Chiefs are number 1. A lot of people are. Then you're probably going Steelers and Bills. That's kind of how it is. And I honestly don't know who I'd put first, Bills or Steelers. Steelers haven't showed any kind of dynamic, explosive offense. They've just showed that they can put points on the board when they need to. There's very few games that they've ran away with. What's that?
And the defense will complement them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's balanced more than one side, I guess, is the best way to say it. So yeah, this Bills team is easily the top of the AFC right now. I did not expect them to win this game, but this was definitely a prove it moment for the Bills team. I know you picked Josh Allen to be what he was your early running MVP or something like that, wasn't he?
Something like that, yeah. I took him on every fantasy team I could get a hold of just because I felt like he was going to have a breakout year, and by God,
he did. He is.
He had like 450 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. Just absolutely absurd.
Yeah. Yeah, so liking the Bills team, definitely looking forward to in a couple weeks when the Bills and the Steelers play. That's going to be an amazing game. We'll move on. The Baltimore Ravens against the Indianapolis Colts. This is, I think, the 6th or 7th meeting these teams have had since Baltimore left, or since the Colts left Baltimore and went to Indy. So the Colts have never lost to the Ravens since they moved. This is marking the first time that's happened. So
I'll stop you right there. All we need to talk about in this game is Phillip Rivers trying to make a tackle. That's all we got to talk about. I
yeah.
got to it on NFL Red Zone, and I got up to go to the bathroom or something, and I hear my dad go through the living room, go, "Oh no, Phillip!" I'm like, "What did he do?" Walk back, and I was expecting, a truck stick. I was thinking he just got laid out, something like that. No, air got him. I, I, I don't know what the fuck that was. That was the most pathetic attempt. I just love how he put his arms up, hoping to catch a leg, and the guy just hurdled him. Wasn't even close.
Then you see the photo of him like just sitting on the ground with his head down.
Like the dude's like high step in the end zone, and you just look in the background, and Phillip Rivers is just like this, still laying there.
Just starfish. Yeah, I will admit, like this Colts team reminds me of like, I don't know, the Buffalo Bills a year or two ago, where it was like they're good, but they're not quite good enough yet, and like they might make the playoffs, but they're not going to probably make a ton of noise. Um, I think they're a good team. I think they're going to give everybody that plays them, they're going to have a shot at the game. I just don't see them being a very dominant team, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
I totally could have seen them win this game against Baltimore. I also totally could see them losing it. Like it wasn't something that was very surprising to me that when they lost it.
I just felt like a little bit stiffer competition. I don't know. I gave the Ravens the slight edge. Just didn't
Yeah. Well, we all did in the picks. That's for I believe we all picked the Ravens on that one. So yes, we did, even the favorites. So yeah, they took away 24-10. Let's move on to the next game there. Texans and Jags. No one really cares that much. The Texans did win it. The Jags tried to do, I think, a end of the game field goal and missed it.
Yeah.
It was a super long one too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they missed it. Texans won. JJ Watt is salary cap, allowing. I think JJ Watt's a Steeler next year.
It'll be tough to see with the salary cap.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But also, who knows? Maybe he takes a discount to play with his bros.
He could.
So he's not happy there. He doesn't want to rebuild. He wants to win now, and he's tired of the Texans. They should have traded him at the trade deadline, but evidently did not get very good offers for him, or what they wanted out of him, type of thing. Or I don't even know if they got interest.
Brian was still there.
That's true. They probably would have actually had to give Capita up for him, so they were like, "Fuck it, we don't want to do that." So yeah, so meaningless at this point, but good for the Texans to get the win there. Panthers and Chiefs actually turned out to be a pretty good game. Nobody's been talked about Michael Davis at all, filling in for Christian McCaffrey this whole time, and he's done pretty damn well. I mean, obviously he's not Christian McCaffrey, but he's done really well for himself this year. So
Absolutely. Yeah, he's been a very good fill-in. You really can't fault the guy. He's done everything he can.
yeah, and Christian McCaffrey does come back this game, but then is only in for some of it. I think he left late in. I want to say it was either late in the third or early in the fourth. And then he is now doubtful to be in for next week. So it's just not the season for him. It is not his. I like it though, because this is, what this means. He's not going to go first overall next year in fantasy football. He's going to go like
second or
third. Yeah, he's going to be second or third. So then he'll have his bounce back season. It'll be like Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry will be number 1 and 2 next year. And Kamara, obviously.
Playing your long game a little bit too long.
I want CMC back. So yeah, he's. It sucks for them. They went through that little stint there where they were like 3-0 without him, and then they just haven't been able to do too much after that. So I do feel bad for the Panther team. I feel bad for Teddy Bridgewater because like he deserved to have a little bit good, but this team's essentially going to be out of playoff contention now. Record 3-6. They did put up one hell of a fight against this Chiefs. This Chiefs team can be beaten.
Yes.
You just got to play all fucking 4 quarters.
Yeah, you have to. You cannot slip up in any facet of the game. You cannot turn the ball over. You cannot commit dumb penalties because the second you do, they punish you. They can. And that's the sickening thing is they don't have to play their best game, but if you do those things against them, they'll find a way to beat you.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to play
exactly.
100% your best game all the time.
Yes. If you don't, they will take advantage of it. You've seen it in the Super Bowl last year where they didn't play their best game till probably the 4th fucking quarter and still came away with the win. So they are beatable. You just have to have the pedal to the floor the entire time until that clock hits 0. You have to continually keep your motor high against them.
Yep.
It's crazy, but it's incredibly true. Lions and the Vikings, another somewhat meaningless game. The Lions lost to the Vikings 34-20. Dalvin Cook, like we were just mentioning, is absolutely crazy this year. Taking on his biggest impression of Adrian Peterson's prime as he can. You did say something about the running backs in the NFL right now. What was it? I remember you were telling me at the beginning.
I'm not sure the exact totals, but I believe right now Dalvin Cook's in the lead with something like 860 yards. And then Derrick Henry is somewhere around like 850, 840, something like that. And I believe the next closest is Josh Jacobs at like 580.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now. Dalvin Cook, 858 on 144 attempts, 12 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 843 on 182, 8 touchdowns. And then it's Josh Jacobs, 588 on 161 attempts with 6 touchdowns. So the gap is 300 yards right now between the top people. And then with Josh Jacobs, it's like 2 yards behind him is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. 2 yards behind him is Todd Gurley. 4 yards behind him is James Robinson. And then another 8 yards behind him is Zeke Elliott. You want to know who's the 7th best rusher in the league? Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has 543 rushing yards. He is 45 yards behind Jacobs right now?
That's insanity.
Yeah.
That's like big shit.
Yeah. And then it's also kind of crazy if you look. Nick Chubb is no longer even on that list. He's not over 300, and he was like the top rusher at one point in time. And then Kareem Hunt now is at 529. So like there is almost 10 running backs in the 500-yard range. James Conner's up there, Ronald Jones, Kenyon Drake is even up there, and I thought Kenyon Drake has absolutely sucked this year. But then there is, Kyler Murray just sitting up there on 7th. But yeah, that's the rushing totals right now. It's absolutely, they have by far separated themselves from everybody else. Do you know who the leading receiver in the league right now is?
DeAndre Hopkins.
No, DeAndre Hopkins is 4th. Number 1 is Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs has the most receptions and most yards, 813 on 63 receptions. If we're going by yards, it then goes DK Metcalf, Travis Kelce, Robbie Anderson is 4th, then DeAndre Hopkins. And then, there's a lot of names up here you're looking at going, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Like Allen Robinson is 6th. McLaren, 7th. Devontae Adams, Calvin Ridley, Cooper, Allen. But the only other thing is Stephon Diggs, only 3 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, 9. Metcalf, 8. Adams, 8. So there's a lot of the other receivers that are putting up the better numbers because of touchdown-wise, at least in the fantasy aspect. But yeah, Stephon Diggs, number 1 in the league right now. All right, let's go off the stats for a moment. Sorry about that. We got sidetracked talking stats. Moving on down to the Bears and Titans. I am finally happy that this fucking Bears team has kind of come down to earth. There's like a moment there, you're looking at it, and they're like 5-0, and you're like, how the fuck is this team 5-0? And then you're like, okay, they're 5-1, not bad. Okay, now they're 5-2. Now, right now, they're 5-4, and on a horrible slide. And you're like, okay, now all is right in the world. Something seems normal again. This Bears team, when faced against stiff competition, has finally kind of faltered. I am pleasantly surprised at Ryan Tannehill. I don't know how. What's that?
I said he bounced back.
I'm just surprised that after his debacle, just horrible start to his career in Miami, and is so up and down. I feel like Miami's just kind of like another Browns team anymore, where just you go there to die sometimes.
No, that was just the case when Adam Gase was there.
Now, oh yeah, that's right.
Now Brian Flores is a Coach of the Year candidate, and they're sort of grooming Tua. I'm not. The jury's wait. It's too early to fucking call anything on Tua, but yeah, that was only just because of Adam Gase that place was like a town. That's just where talent went to die.
Yeah, that's true. Now the Jets are that place. They're getting rid of every player they ever had, and Adam Gase will then leave too after they've wholesaled everybody, and then the Jets will be in a rebuild for 3 years. What'd you say?
I said Joe Namath has just been traded for a 6th rounder.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised with this Titans team. I thought last year all they did was focus on, okay, we're going to give Derrick Henry the ball 35 times and just control the game and not let you have the ball, which is what they did in the playoffs essentially. But this year they have really let Tannehill go and be himself and control the game a little bit, be an actual quarterback. And I'm really surprised at how well it's been for the guy.
Yeah, like we said, they had a couple rough games there. The game against the Steelers, and they had a bad loss against who was it? Now that we're thinking about it, the Bengals. They got their ass beat last week.
So, yeah, 2 AFC North teams.
Yeah, kind of a bounce back week. They just needed to, kind of pull it together. Vrabel's been here before. I say it every week. He was there with the Patriots. He's just took this team to the AFC Championship game this past year. So they know how to get it done. They'll figure the fuck out.
I like the fact that Vrabel may be, because you think of all these assistants and what they've done outside of being with Belichick. Patricia probably had the most, potential, I felt. And he really has. I mean, he went to the Lions, but he just hasn't really panned out. Yeah. I feel like Vrabel may be the first successful assistant that he's had in a long time. Yes, you could say Josh McDaniels was successful, but the man drafted Tebow and had one successful season.
Hey, don't you forget how successful that season was.
Yeah. We don't talk about that season.
Demaryius Thomas, he's running across the middle.
Oh, Ike Taylor has bricks for feet. Oh.
And hands.
And hands, yes. He was just a walking brick, really. So, yeah, I feel like he's going to be the best Belichick assistant there is. And I feel like last year in the playoffs, when you saw them and him pulling the same move that Belichick pulled earlier that year with the delay game and draining as much clock as he could. I think he drained like a minute and 45 off the clock or something like that by just delay gaming over and over again.
Yeah.
That was amazing to see Belichick freak out. Like, I wish that every night before I went to bed, I got to see Belichick that angry, because then I would have the greatest dreams ever.
Oh yeah, you would just drift off into just absolute bliss as you slept.
When I die someday, that I want that to be the last thing I see. It's just Belichick freaking out.
All right. Also, I've updated my coaches to fired standing. So obviously, Adam Gase, but we're gonna put Matt Patricia and Matt Nagy are both right here.
Yeah.
I think Nagy's on notice. I think he needs to fucking go.
What do you think about McCarthy?
I think you really can't say anything too much about him with the injuries and stuff they've had.
That's what I was hoping you were saying, because that's what I was going to say.
Well, that is the only thing that could give him possibly a little bit of a pass, to be honest. If this team were healthy, or no, even if they, so say you still don't even have Dak. There's been a couple of boneheaded decisions, but at the same time, you're trying to make the most of what you have. You're a first-year coach with a brand new team with all new personnel. There's going to be like mistakes and stuff. I feel like it's just kind of like the Philadelphia Eagles effect. It's, the Cowboys fans are just, carnivorous, and they want results from day one. And if you don't get them, they're ready to cut your fucking head off.
It's true. They're ready to kill Dak, even though he is you can now see without Dak, this team is garbage.
Oh, yeah. They better not ever speak ill on his fucking name ever again.
No, and I will never understand why they speak so much shit on Dak when it's not Dak's fault. Dak is the only reason they've probably been in so many games.
It's just easy to blame him, that's all.
Yeah, it is.
Instead of saying, fuck you, Jerry.
And here's another thing, and I don't want to hang on the Cowboys too long because we'll get over to that game anyway. Do you think that Zeke is really as good as everybody made him out to be for so many years, or was it that fucking offensive line that was so all-star? I get that teams right now are scheming to stop him because, I mean, what else are you going to do against this team? Do you really, I don't know that he is a top 5 running back in this league anymore.
I think he is, but I think both things can still be true about that sentence. I think as much as Zeke made that line look good, I think that line made Zeke look like an all-world running back at times when...
Okay, I want you to tell me, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, CMC, even though he hasn't played this year, we all know what he's capable of. Alvin Kamara, whatever was I? Henry, Cook, CMC, Kamara. You could put Barkley up above him. You could put, Jesus, I'm trying to think of any other. Aaron Jones. You could probably put Carson above him.
You're missing another name here.
Who am I forgetting? Oh, Josh Jacobs. Yeah, there you go.
You disappoint me in so many
ways. I'm just saying, there's 8 running backs you could name that are better than Ezekiel Elliott right now.
Right now, but there are a lot. He's playing behind a patchwork offensive line with there's a lot of it. I hate making excuses for the Cowboys because the Cowboys get nothing but excuses made for them year in and year out.
Yeah.
But I think this team, there's too much talent. There really is. They lack a little bit of talent on the defensive side of the ball. But as far as the offense, when that offensive line is intact, it is the best in football. Zeke, when he's running behind it with Dak, and now Dak has CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. They need to go out and draft themselves like a really, really good tight end this year and set themselves apart. And who gives a fuck about your defense if you can go out and score 55, 60 points every fucking game? Jesus Christ.
Well, okay. Think about that when you look at the Seahawks when you say that. So,
well, like I said, but at the same time, the Seahawks, it's basically Russell Wilson. I mean, not to say they're not talented, but can you really say that they're more talented than the Cowboys when the Cowboys are fully healthy on paper?
yeah. I mean, I honestly would probably pick the Seahawks receivers over the Cowboys receivers, but that's not by much, though. And that's just because I love DK.
Well, DK, Tyler Lockett, and who's your third?
Greg Olsen.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, you're right. No, you're right on that one. All right, well, let's move on here. We just have gone completely off topic on that. Seems to be the ritual today.
Yeah.
Moving on, another kind of semi-meaningless interdivisional game: Giants and the Washington football team. Giants did win that. Fun fact I'm reading here, and I mentioned this to you earlier. Daniel Jones, 4-0 against Washington. Against everybody else, he's 1-16.
Sounds about right. Really, the only thing to mention about this game was Kyle Allen with one of the more disgusting leg injuries I've ever seen.
What in the fuck is up with Washington and that their quarterbacks get their femurs twisted?
Called no offensive line.
Well, I mean, Kyle Allen wasn't his femur, but needless to say, it was a pretty gruesome looking injury when your leg bends in a way it shouldn't.
Yeah, Alex Smith comes in and sort of made this a competitive game, but who gives a fuck because it's the Giants and the Redskins.
Yeah, well, I mean, the biggest thing.
I almost said it.
You almost said it.
Oh, I stopped myself.
I'm glad you said
that was
no, and that's it. But these teams really don't matter at this point. I almost it's a feel good story that Alex Smith has been out there, but he really hasn't played super well. And I don't want to say that.
He looked pretty good this game. I mean, he had 325 yards this game, but he also threw 3 picks.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. But outside of Terry McLaurin, who the fuck are you throwing to?
Yeah. Yep. I feel so bad for that team sometimes. All right, let's move on to the Raiders and Chargers. Chargers, once again, are, I swear, they're the best, worst team in the NFL. They've lost 9 straight against AFC West opponents. The Raiders are, really getting themselves in that conversation of being a playoff team in the AFC right now. They're the only team that's beaten the Chiefs. They're 5-3 right now. They're winning when they should. So that's like the big key things right now is they're winning the matchups that they should win. They are a strong candidate for a team in the AFC to make a big push. I see the team improves each week. The secondary gets better. They're running the ball more efficiently. Carr seems more comfortable each week. Nelson Aguilar is improving every week for some goddamn reason.
He had 2 for 55 and a touchdown this week. And one of them, I believe, was like a 40-yard ball.
Yeah. Good. Okay. How? Why? Maybe? I don't know.
I'm just so happy. Well, I'm happy for him because obviously he had a rough go of things in Philly. But, I just could not believe when everybody was texting me about that. Everybody's like, oh, you guys, you got Peterman, you got
You even said You even said, typical fucking Gruden, grabbing somebody thinking he can fix them. This is bullshit. And you freak out and freak out. And then he fucking took them and he fixed them.
I did indeed say that. I was pessimistic. I cannot lie to you. Because I was like, here we go. Here's a guy that, couldn't catch a cold in fucking Antarctica. It's like, here we go. We're just gonna like a Nathan Peterman. Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna fix this guy. And then it was like, okay, I think the first ball he caught was probably a 50 or 60-yard touchdown pass. And then every single week, every time he catches the ball, it's either a key first down or like a big chunk play.
It was like, I think it was like week 7 or week 8 or something like that. There was a stat saying like the only receiver to have a perfect passer rating when targeted was Nelson Aguilar.
Well, I believe the number one receiver in the NFL, I believe, on catches with 40 yards or more is DK Metcalf, and right behind him is
Nelson Aguilar.
I talk about him every week, but he's looked just I can't get enough of it. It just makes me laugh every time he catches the ball. It's just such a great story.
It is. It really is.
Also,
but
another good one to talk about real quick. Devontae Booker had more rushing yards on almost half the carries this game than Josh Jacobs did. Devontae Booker went 8 for 68 with a touchdown. Josh Jacobs 14 for 65.
Interesting.
Again, another just castaway. May as well one step away from opening an accounting firm or some shit like that. Not being
got a used car lot somewhere with his name on it.
Yes, essentially. Yeah. I don't want to go on about too much longer about this game, but what really impressed me was Carr only threw for 165 yards. He didn't really look too impressive, but when he did, finally set his feet and take the shot, like he's looked more and more confident and more. There's no like wavering in his deep ball anymore. When the shot's there, he takes it and he's completing the long ball finally.
They talked about for the longest time, is Carr going to be Gruden's guy? Is Carr going to be Gruden's guy? Oh no, I think he's going to draft somebody. Blah blah blah. There's jokes about it this year. Carr's his guy. I mean, it's obvious now that Carr and him have got this chemistry going. Carr's fixed his problems, and he's playing much better than you would imagine. So Gruden has got his guy, and it is Derek Carr.
Well, as soon as that ball he threw to Renfro, when he scrambled out of the pocket, and then he improvises it, tells him to go long, and then throws one right into the breadbasket, probably like a 30 or 40-yard catch to Hunter Renfro, who's played really well this year too. That's the type of shit that he hasn't done the past 2 years. He hasn't had that type of command or that confidence.
Yeah, that's it. The confidence right there. And Gruden is nothing but like he will beat your chest for you. He will give you the confidence you need. And then when you go out there with that high morale, high confidence, you do come up with those type of plays. That's just how it works.
And that's what it was I think a lot of people, to your point, I think it was pretty much, they were like, oh, he's going to be too hard on Carr, blah, 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 blah. And it was really sink or swim for him and Carr instead of, being like, fuck this, I want out, like this guy's an asshole. He's embraced it, and it's worked out for both of them. So
yeah, absolutely.
It keeps working out. But yeah, the Chargers find another way to blow a game. Jesus Christ.
I think this Chargers team is 1 or 2 years away from being really good. And I feel bad because it's Herbert's rookie season.
Yeah.
But I feel bad that his record is going to look tarnished with this year when the guy has played ridiculous. Like, he has been amazing this year.
Oh, yeah. He's played out of his mind. And we were down. We were up. I forget what the score was, but we could have put it away with a touchdown. I think we had 4th and 2 short. And Gruden kicks the field goal. They went clear down the field, and the first ball, they threw a fade to Mike Williams with like 5 seconds left. Incomplete. Then the second one, they throw to the guy who had replaced Trayvon Mullen on his side. They threw to that backup tight end they had, who up to this point, he he had 3 career catches and had 3 career touchdowns. So
Yep.
they tried to throw him a fade, and obviously overturned, gets called back. I thought for sure they're going down the field. They're going to break the curse. They're going to find a way to finally beat somebody. They're going to win this game.
Yeah.
And then the 11th hour, with
In the 11th hour,
they found the last second on the clock a way to blow the fucking game.
Yeah, it's
Which
true.
means they're to the bottom of the barrel. They figured out a way to lose a game in every single fashion. So the winning has to come at some point.
Yeah. So, that's fucking funny. Where was I? I was going back to. I was looking at random stats on quarterbacks to kind of see where Herbert and everybody laid, and then I was like, oh, I wonder who has the best completion percentage in the league. So there's a bunch of people that have one pass attempt and completed it. The quarterback with the best completion percentage right now is Chad Henne with 5 completions on 6 attempts. Then Mason Rudolph with 3 completions on 4 attempts. Then it goes Drew Brees. He is at 74% completion percentage. And that has been without Michael Thomas most of the year. That's just absolutely bonkers.
Just out of curiosity, where is Carr on that list?
Carr is not very far down. So there are only 4 starting quarterbacks have over 70%. It goes Breeze, then Teddy Bridgewater at 72%, Russell Wilson at 71%, Ryan Fitzpatrick at 70%, then Derek Carr at 69.8%.
Nice.
So, yes, he is 5th in the league in completion percentage.
Well, he's the best in the league in completion percentage in that case. His percentage is 69%, so he is the best in the league.
I see what you did there. Yeah. That's why that 0.8's in there, because they don't want him to go over 69%.
Yeah, he's not allowed. He has to stay right at 60. If he stays at 69% completion the rest of the year, we'll win the fucking Super
Bowl. Let's see. The quarterback rating, Aaron Rodgers is 117. Russell Wilson's 117. Mahomes 115. Breeze 110. Derek Carr 110. So what, 5th out of starting quarterbacks? So yeah, I mean, Derek Carr is really showing the numbers. Ben Roethlisberger's over 100? I wouldn't believe that. Wow. That is the first time I can remember.
Hasn't, like, how many drop passes and shit has he had here?
Well, even on an interception standpoint, 2 of his 4 interceptions were just throwaways at the end of, like, one of them was at the end of a half, and both of them were at the end of, like, halves where he threw it deep to try to get something to happen. And I think the other one was a 4th down in the red zone, which he couldn't. It was either complete it or get intercepted.
Yeah.
So I mean, 2 of those I wouldn't even blame on him. So that's awesome to see him down low. Derek Carr's only got 2 interceptions this year. He's 2,000 yards. So, like, Derek Carr is playing the best he has in his career so far. And it's showing on that team. That it's an incredibly strong 5-3 team. So, yeah, sorry. Let's move on some more here.
Yeah.
Dolphins and Cardinals. Dolphins squeak out a win there. Another 2 win. A little more on Tua's plate on that one, where it actually kind of, he didn't have 93 yards this time. He actually played really well. 20 for 28, 248, 2 touchdowns. Rushing wise, he was the second rusher on the team, only 3 yards behind Salvon Ahmed. And I feel bad for Jordan Howard. Because really, when he was, I think it was, a Bear before that?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a good running back for the Bears. And he comes in and has 10 rushes for 19 yards. Feel bad for that team. It feels like they just can't find a running back that is anyways decent. But
yeah, last one I can remember is Ricky Williams, to be honest.
Who? Jay Ajayi.
Well, he really owned that. He had one game against the Steelers.
That's true. Yeah, and then he got traded to the Eagles.
I believe we talked about this. I think.
Yeah, we did a few weeks ago, actually.
He's like an esports team or something now. Like,
yeah, that's right. So yeah, the Dolphins and the Cardinals. Kyler Murray had over 100 yards rushing in that game. He's just crazy, and it's weird to watch him because he looks like a child playing the game because he's so tiny.
You figure Kyler had three passing touchdowns and one rushing touchdown. He was responsible for 28 of his team's 31 points.
Yeah. Without, I mean, that man is.
I will admit, I moaned and groaned and bitched because he didn't deserve Rookie of the Year last year.
I don't think he did.
Could have been Josh Jacobs. It should have been Josh Jacobs by a fucking mile. But you could honestly put Kyler in the MVP discussion this year.
You could. I mean, right now he's what did I say, the 6th or 7th leading rusher as a quarterback? He's doing Lamar Jackson what Lamar Jackson did last year. Only he can pass.
Yeah.
I'm
going to hit the button there. That was a little bit too much bitterness in your voice.
Listen, Lamar Jackson is a running back that can pass, not a quarterback that can run. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so.
We knew this.
Kyler Murray is a quarterback that can run.
That is interdivisional hatred, and you're off topic.
All right, moving on. Steelers and Cowboys. Steelers tried everything they could to lose this game. Now, I have a guy I went to college with who writes for the Steelers. And I follow him on Facebook and I read a lot of his articles because he really goes in depth with breaking down things. So he broke down this game and he did it by the numbers. The Steelers were in that base 3-4 defense like 65% of the time, which meant they were trying to stop the run and they barely fucking ran it. They actually gave it to this, 4th string quarterback and let him go to town on him.
Well, I mean, that's the smart thing to do because, on both sides, if you think about it, because the Steelers are going, okay, there's no possible way that they're going to put this kid under center and let him snap the ball again. And also at the same time, as Cowboys, you probably know that. So it's like, okay, we're 0-6 or 2-6 or something like that, whatever.
Yeah, 2-7 now.
Yeah, 2-7. And it's like, you know what? Let's let this kid roll the fucking dice.
And that's it. And the thing that caused the Steelers team to not be in it as much is the fact they didn't get into their sub packages. They didn't play the pass. They still focused down on the run, which they stopped the run. The run game was not there. But they then you get the mismatch of Vince Williams or some middle linebacker on a wide receiver. Like years ago when you see, DeAndre Hopkins being covered by Vince Williams. Sorry, don't ever fucking do that.
Yeah.
And that is where the mistakes were made. And this was, in his article, he talked about it a lot. This was the problem with the Steelers defense 2 years ago when Keith Butler was running things and why he was calling for Keith Butler's firing back in those days. And he just did not make the adjustments in that game with the defense. He kept to his guns and almost lost the game because of it. Now that team is so heavily stacked with actual talent that it's covering up for some of those mistakes because they have an all-pro probably at every level at this point. And you can't argue that. Come on. I mean, Minka in the back. Obviously, TJ Watt and Bud Dupree on the front, and then Hayward and Tuitt are probably two of the best defensive linemen in the league. Come on, I know you're trying to find a way to deny it, but you're having a very difficult time. Anyway, so yeah, they have more talent to overcome that. So it was actually very interesting, and hopefully they don't do the same fucking thing next week against the Bengals team, which they should beat, but they are probably going to have a fucking difficult time with because, well, it's an interdivision play, so I never expect those to not be difficult. Oh, yeah. But yeah, the Steelers tried their best to lose it. They did not. They are 8-0 for the first time in team history. So, I mean, what a great year to be a Steelers fan.
Wonderful. Happy for you.
All right, moving on. The Saints shellacking the Buccaneers, and God, did that feel good. It is so great to see probably my once loved player in Antonio Brown, now probably my most hated, and my absolute most hated player in Tom Brady on the same team getting their shit rocked by Drew Brees, who's like Mr. Rogers of the NFL. Like, he is just an overall good guy.
Just coming along and just helping everybody out, you know. Yeah. Couldn't have come. Everybody was like, "Oh, AB, Antonio Brown, blah 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 blah." And like I said when we were starting off the show, this was one of those games where it was 28-0 before the half. You could turn it off and just, you know, go to sleep, have some sweet dreams. That's all.
Yes, and that was the best part about it. So yeah, I was really happy to see that. It's really great to see the Bucs lose. Anytime Tom Brady loses, it's a good day. Moving on to his old team, the Patriots, where the Patriots squeak out a win here against the Jets. If they were not playing the Jets, this team would have lost. This Patriots team is not good.
No.
They are trying their hardest to tailor their offense to Cam Newton. You know, focus on the running, pass occasionally, RPOs. It's just they are not good.
No.
They're Stephen Gilmore is not defensive player of the year anymore.
No.
They have been hit pretty hard with a bunch of opt-outs, which, you know, now that I think about it, maybe some of those players were opting out because they knew this team wasn't going to be good this year.
Yeah, could have been a little column A, a little column B, to be honest. If I had any inkling that this season was going to look like this, I definitely would have been like, you know what? I'll just sit at home.
I'll take a break.
I ain't going to, see all the injuries you've had this.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this Patriots team 3-5, all but out of the playoff picture at this point, which I hope they get to 6-7 losses. Because I'll dance. I will dance in the streets the day the Patriots will not make the playoffs. You will hear me miles away.
You may as well just get your singing voice ready for next week.
It's very exciting. Very, very exciting. But they do squeak out the win against the Jets. Like I said, if it wasn't the fucking Jets, they wouldn't have won. There's no way. Yeah. So, I mean, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on here. We're going to do our picks real quick. And then actually, let's take a kind of look. I went 11-3 last week. You went 10-4. And the favorites went 9-5. That brings my overall to a whopping 92. The hell, what did that go? 90? Oh, you son of a gun. Come on, computer. 92 and 40. You are at 87. Yeah, I just keep gaining a friggin' game on you per week, man.
Until this week.
87-5 for you. And, the favorites are way back there.
Yeah.
Definitely coming up the rear at a whopping 80.
We're better.
We are better than Vegas. That's pretty much what we're trying to say here.
Yeah.
53. Oof. That's rough. Or 52. Excuse me. Is that right? 47 plus 5, 52. Yep. Yep. So, yeah, we are. I'm now 5 wins ahead of you. And I'm about to break that 100-win mark right now. So
you're only 5 wins ahead for now.
I think I'm over 60% right now.
Yeah. Well,
I think so.
Good at math here. I'm good at everything else. You're good at the math.
I'm feeling pretty confident in my picking ability. 11-3 last week's pretty dang good. So let's go into.
I'm on the war.
What's that?
I said I'm on the warpath. I'm on the comeback trail.
All right, let's see about that. Let's go down through. Beautiful. Okay, Jace. Number 1 game, Colts and the Titans. Who are you taking?
I am going to go with the Titans.
Yeah, this is kind of the battle for the first place spot. I have to go with the Titans in this as well. I think that the Colts are good, but the Titans team is just is the team to beat in that division right now. So,
Easy.
So yeah, they're definitely going the Titans as well. Next up, Bucks and Panthers. I think we're going to have another bunch of divisional games, if I'm not mistaken, this week.
Yeah.
Bucks and Panthers. Panthers have played well this year. You have CMC doubtful. I think you're still. I hate to say it, but it looks like this is it could be a Bucks win pretty easily here.
Yeah, I hate to say it. No CMC. If he were in, I would give this game consideration, but I'll take the Buccaneers.
Yep. Texans at the Browns. Browns, still there's a lot of 5-3 teams in this AFC right now. I believe that Nick Chubb is back for this game. I think they'll slowly ease him in because Kareem Hunt has done fantastic without him anyway. So I don't think you'll see him get overused. I think it'll be kind of a 50-50 kind of thing. And I think that's what you're going to see from their running backs from now on out. So I got to go with the Browns on this one. They're just the better team overall.
Yep, I'm taking the Browns as well.
Washington at the Lions, a game that really doesn't matter that much. Alex Smith is definitely starting at this point. I'm going Lions on this one.
Yep, I will.
Oh, you're thinking about it.
I was thinking about it just because it's one of those shit games, but I'll take the Lions.
Yep. Packers at Jags. This could be a sneaky kind of trap game for the Packers, but I don't see that happening. I don't see Rodgers letting that happen. So Packers it is for me.
Go Pack, go.
Eagles at the Giants. Kind of for the. Hold on. Let me just. This is a 3-4 team. 3-4-1. Playing a 2-7 team. Where the winner of this could be the leader of the division. Hold on, let me wipe the tears under my eyes.
That would be the one time you might see some unity between Giants and Eagles fans as they all walk out of the stadium, no matter the
way. Either way, I think the Eagles win this. Oh, fun fact, when I was looking at completion percentages, Carson Wentz is at 58%. Real bad. But yes, I'm going Eagles. Possibility to have Alshon Jeffrey back this week, too.
I will take the Giants at home.
Ooh. Giants, he says. All right. Moving on. Bengals at the Steelers. Another 4:00 game. The Steelers have won 9 straight games versus Cincinnati, but they obviously have not played Joe Burrow. Notoriously, though, rookie quarterbacks against the Steelers defense have never fared well. That was also a lot more in kind of the Dick LeBeau era, but Keith Butler was basically, Dick LeBeau's understudy at that point.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers continue the trend, and they continue being 8-0, or they'll be 9-0 after this. I think it's going to be a sneaky good game, though, and I think it's going to be a lot closer than I want it to be.
Yeah. I would like to pick the Bengals, but as my upset of the week, but I can't bring myself to do it. Just because Steelers are too good this year, they'll find a way at the end of the game to. I feel like there's a game where they will lose, like an upset at some point. And
Yeah.
This is a likely candidate, but I can't pick it. I got to take it.
There was one late in the season I said this is going to be a trap game that we're going to lose, and I can't remember which one it is now. I'd have to look at our schedule, but this is not that game.
Yeah.
Bills and Cardinals. 2 great teams right now. Bills just coming off a pretty hearty victory over the Seahawks. Bills beat Seahawks. Cardinals beat Seahawks. So who wins this will be the champ.
Yeah.
I got to go with the Bills on this. I think this is going to be just like that Seahawks game where it's just offensive explosion the entire time. But I think it's the Bills in this one for sure. I think Josh Allen picks them apart a little bit.
Yep, Bills for me.
Broncos and Raiders. Good, another interdivisional game. I love the mid-season where you get all these divisional games. I love it. This one's going to be good. It's at the Death Star. So I think the Broncos are probably in for some hurt.
Yeah. I think we'll have Mo Hurst back. Trayvon Mullen should be good to go. So we're going to make Drew Lock's life hell for 4 straight quarters.
Yeah.
I'm going with Raiders.
Yeah, me too. The next game is Seahawks at the Rams. Now, this is in the new Inglewood Stadium. That fucking stadium is amazing. It's absolutely ridiculous what they've done with that place. The Seahawks have lost 4 of the last 5 games to the Rams. The Rams are like the Seahawks kryptonite. No matter how bad either team is throughout the whole year, the Rams can be 2-10, and for some reason they always give the Seahawks fits.
I forget what year it was they beat the Seahawks when the Seahawks were real hot. Johnny Hecker faked a punt and threw a bomb or something like that. I forget.
It was 3 or 4 years ago. But yeah, it was like Seahawks were favorites and then the fucking Rams win.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
So I have a hard time picking against the Seahawks right now, especially after a loss to the Buffalo Bills, the way they did lose. But I think I'm going to go with the Rams on this one. I think that tradition keeps going, and this Rams team is not bad. So I have to go with the Rams in this one.
Thank you for giving me a free game back. I'll take the Seahawks.
We will see. Niners and the Saints. With Michael Thomas back, this Saints team looks like the Saints of old. I thought that Breeze was playing really badly, but after looking at his stats now, I'm like, oh, no, he's been playing like the best quarterback in the league. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
so Saints it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Saints by mile.
Yep. Ravens and Patriots. Last year, I would have said this game would have been amazing. This year, Ravens are going to win this game. I know this Patriots team is a skeleton of what it used to be.
Yep, Ravens.
Chargers and Dolphins. Now this is a interesting matchup because this is two of the the rookies from this class playing each other. We all kind of expected this to happen. I think I don't even know what our predictions were of when each quarterback was going to start this year, but they're all starting now. So
yeah,
I'll have to go back and look and see if I can find it because I think I wrote it down on our early predictions somewhere of when each team was going to start, or one of the earlier episodes. So I'll have to look that up again and do my research back on our predictions. But this is going to be a good game. I really want to go with the Chargers because I know they're a good team and they just have been losing dumb games. But I just think the Dolphins are the better team. And I have a bad feeling that this is the game that will knock the Chargers out of playoff contention at this point. Dolphins it is for me.
LA team going to the East Coast and the Chargers penchant for blowing games. Like you said, I want to take the Chargers in this game, but I can't bring myself to do it. I got to take them.
Like I want to believe in them. I like Justin Herbert a lot, and I want to believe in them. It's just not. It's not happening. Nope. Vikings and the Bears. Cousins continues his 0-9 career on Monday night. Do you think this is the game that he breaks it? I think he does, but not by his hand. I think by the hand of Dalvin Cook. I think it's a Vikings win on this Monday night game.
The Bears defense is good enough to stop Dalvin on the ground. They'll make Foles throw, so Bears win.
Okay. Pull Bears it is for you.
Bear down.
All right, that's everything from that. Bye weeks this week are Jets, Chiefs, Cowboys, Falcons. We're getting into that, we're getting into the second half. I think we're probably not going to do it this week, but I think we're going to have to start doing our top 10 power rankings again, just to kind of get some breakdowns on who we feel is the strongest team in the NFL at the time. So I think that's something we'll expect from next week. You want to dig into the Masters real quick before we close out?
Oh, fuck yes, I do. Not going to do a whole lot, but just thank God it's here. It's going to be a great tournament. It's going to be really weird. A lot of distance going to be cut off. The fairways are going to be a little bit softer. The rough's going to be a little bit longer, a little bit more fluffy, I guess. So you're going to see not as many balls reach the pine straw and get really into like tricky areas. So it'll almost benefit players. But at the same time, you're going to not see as much distance, which is going to be really cool. I'm just really happy to see the Masters. I really don't care at this fucking point. I've been pouring over the numbers, and I've got three guys that I'm looking at. I think DJ, Xander Schauffele. Well, I got four, I guess. And then Taro Hatton and Hideki Matsuyama. Those are my four that I can see. And if I always pick him, but of course, as my dark horse, I'll take Kisner just because, he'll find a fucking way. This course doesn't really suit Kisner because it's 7,600 fucking yards or whatever it plays now. Something absolutely stupid. I don't know what the yardage is these days.
Yeah.
But all you need really is a good short game. You need to hit good long irons and approaches into greens, and you need to be able to putt because these are some of the hardest greens you'll ever see as far as what you read. So here's this, and everybody's talking about blah blah blah, Bryson, this and that. So we'll see if he's able to, break Augusta as they've been talking about. Which they break Augusta, they'll it's worse than like the Freemasons as far as like a cult goes. They will leave the grounds. They'll be like, "Oh, he disappeared. We don't know what happened to him."
That's true.
But that's all I got. Happy Masters Week. This is like better than Christmas Eve for me.
Okay. So Masters Week it is. Super exciting. It's odd to have it in November.
Yeah.
It's a very weird feeling.
They're getting it done on 2:30 on Sundays, so that way not to interfere with the 4 o'clock game, so CBS can still broadcast a football game on Sunday.
There you go. All right. Well, I don't have any more things to add on here. Thank you for tuning in again. As always, visit our webpage at the alltheragesports.weebly.com. You can visit us on Facebook. Give us a like there. YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Go to our Transistor host site. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you find your podcasts. As for Chase Junk, I am your host, Jesse Baden. And as always, remember, rage on.
Masters Week, bitches.
Yeah.